welcome. Today I have a card share for you using the Hero Arts My Monthly Hero May 2018 kit. It was a build your own tree and other assorted little elements set that came in. I did an unboxing for this earlier and I'll link the video down below if you want to take a look at it, but I'll show you what I have left from the kit anyway, if you're curious and don't want to peek back. Of course, the main centerpiece of this kit is this very large 6x8 gorgeous clear stamp set. You can build your own tree using this tree tree base here, the tree trunk, and then of course various different branches that you can put on. You can build different layers of the branches and have fun with that. There's a couple of other silhouette things. You can have children swinging from the tree, kite, bicycle, a little grass piece here, a couple of different kinds of sentiments. You've got some fruits, a dog, and I think there's a kitty somewhere, and a squirrel. There's the kitty and the squirrel. I'm looking at it upside down here. So it's a very nice sort of build your own set, and as you can see, I had a chance to use most of the stamps. It does come with coordinating dies. I used this large sort of frame, this tree frame, and this swing die, but I didn't really use, I don't even think I used any of the other dies here. They're still attached. It's not that I didn't want to use them, I just didn't, anything that I designed with this kit, I didn't happen to use the dies. Excuse me. And that's fine. I still do have quite a few other card ideas that I had planned to run with, and I just never had a chance to do them, so I figured I would do this video with what I've got and move on, and then I'll continue to work with this as I would as this is sitting at home in my stash here. So those are the stamps and dies. Very nice. Let's see, the kit also comes with let's see. Oh, I'm reading from the website here. And by the way, this kit is sold out, but I'll link it down below if you wanted to take a look at the original kit anyway. And when you bring up the link for the item, it also brings up all of the various add-ons that Hero Arts did offer in May for their kit. I didn't happen to get any of them, but they're pretty nice, and those are still available. Anyway, okay, so it's the stamp set, it's the dies, the leaf dies here, and I don't think that there's a stamp for the dies, so that's why they made mention of it on the website. The fancy die, and then the frame that goes with that. It also came with a roll of leaf patterned washi tape. I did not end up using the washi tape, and I never actually even opened it. I gave it away already. So I don't have that to show off, but again, if you want to take a look at that, you can look at my unboxing from the kit. When I still had it in my possession. It also comes with 5 ivory colored skeleton leaves. I have a couple of them left here. These are okay, they're fun. I remember these being big in crafting when I was a child, like in Girl Scout camp. We used to dip these in like metal to make little pendants for our moms. So it just kind of a nice little blast from the past, I guess, these skeleton leaves. I still have a couple left. I wasn't they're really light colored, so I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do with them. I was going to try smooshing some ink on them to see if I could dye them, and I haven't gotten around to that yet, but that's an idea if you get to it. It came with 4 pieces of recycled handmade hot pressed watercolor paper. I've used it all. Some of them you'll see on the card share, and some of them I used on another project, or I tried to use it on another project. I'm kind of just playing around and comparing it to cold press water paper, because that that is something that I have in my stash normally. It is something that I've worked with, and long story short, it turns out that I much prefer my cold press watercolor paper. So although I did use the hot press watercolor paper, it's not my favorite, and it's not something that I would go out and buy on my own. And it also came with this tree swirl stencil, which I adore, and I did not get a chance to use this nearly as much as I wanted to. Probably because when I saw this, it instantly, and I mentioned this in my unboxing, it totally reminded me of the White Tree of Condor from Lord of the Rings. So I have all of these, like, not even related to this kit kind of projects that I want to use this stencil for. So I did do one little quick thing, and I'll show you in the card share with the stencil, and I do absolutely love it. And I'm also thinking for like unconventional Christmas trees, for Christmas cards and things like that. So I do really like this stencil. I just didn't use it a lot with this kit. And I don't really have a heck of a lot of cards to show off with this kit. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let's see how many cards we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, so we have more cards than I thought I did anyway. 10 cards using this kit. I'll go ahead and go through them and kind of talk a little bit about some of the products. This was actually a while ago, and I'm just now kind of getting around to filming it. And most of the products that I used have been put away since, so I don't have them to show off. But I will definitely link some products down below for you to check out. The only thing that I kind of used new with this project, I opened up my Recollections mixed media adhesive that I picked up some months ago actually, and it's kind of just been sitting here waiting to use. Because I couldn't find my Lawn Fawn glue at the time when I was doing some of these things. I've since found it obviously because it's right here, and I do like this Lawn Fawn glue, but I was kind of hoping this, when I picked it up, would be kind of a generic for the Ranger Multimedia Matte right here, which I do actually like, but I have a really hard time getting it out of the bottle, even with even when you put the fine tip applicator on it. I still have a hard time with it clogging and just not being able to get all of the product out of the bottle. So I wanted to give something else a try. This is a much better price point, obviously, and it's a much larger bottle at 2.1 fluid ounces, and I think this maybe have only been $3 or $4, and I may have used a coupon on it. I actually don't remember at this point because it was quite a while ago that I picked it up. But this is the first time that I got to use it, and it comes with this great cover, this great cap on it, which I really do like, and this fine point here, which I do like. And it did come sealed. I had to pull a safety seal off the inside, and I did appreciate that as well. However, this glue does not it does not pour easily. Even worse, I think it doesn't seem to get clogged, but it doesn't pour as easily as the Multimedia Matte. I don't know if you can see here. It just kind of it's a lot blobbier. It's a lot spittier, I guess you could say. It doesn't quite get the fine droplet points that I have been accustomed to getting since Lawn Fawn came out with this glue. And I believe this glue is the same thing as the Gina K Connect glue as well. So I've been using this for a few months now, and you can get such a fine little drop. And I'm sorry for the shadows here. My lighting is not good, but you can get such a fine little drop with the Lawn Fawn glue, which is more water-based, which I've actually been kind of accustomed to. Even though the tip is thick, but it's misleading. You can still get really fine small drops. I don't know if you can see the Lawn Fawn on the bottom row there. So I don't know if it's just because I've been spoiled by the Lawn Fawn glue and this was kind of frustrating. I also found that this took a lot longer to dry than I was hoping. I was hoping it would be kind of really much like the Multimedia Matte, where you just kind of have to hold your object in place for, you know, a minute and then it's fine, and that was not the case with this glue. So I will use it up, but this probably isn't something that I will purchase again. I will continue my hunt for a more cost-efficient, a more cost-effective glue. I really do like this glue, but it is a bit pricey. I am happy to report though that it does last a while. I think this is a half ounce tube here. I think this was maybe $4, and I've had it, you know, since the spring. It's just a little bit pricey if you use a lot of glue, but it does last a long time. It's definitely worth it, so I'll continue to get the Lawn Fawn glue in lieu of not having anything else, and I will continue to explore other new products that come my way because that's what I like. Anyway, so that is it. I just wanted to point out that I did try this glue with some of these items here and kind of give some thoughts on that. So let's go ahead and do the card share. This first card here, I had a lot of fun with this one. This is sort of my kind of ridiculous card, and actually I've made this with a person in mind, and this is actually kind of what's prompting me to quickly do this card share because I want to get this in the mail by the end of the week. I stamped out the squirrels here with some VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and then I clear heat embossed over it to kind of do in a resist technique, a watercolor resist technique. This is on that hot press watercolor paper that came with the kit, and I used just some brown watercolors. Basically, what did I use for watercoloring? Distress ink, I believe, is what I used for watercolors on these. I just wanted kind of a nice earthy, and I used some of that ribbon. By the way, I don't have any ribbon left from this kit. I really do like that kind of olivey green ribbon. Some of the ribbon from the kit, and also those leaves here, and I used this glue to adhere the leaves down. And now that it's dry, it's holding it, but it did take forever. And then which sentiment did I use? It's the little things that count, and I heat embossed that with, I think that's Nuvo's gold embossing powder there on just a black scrap piece of cardstock that I made, and I matted it in a couple colors. So this one is sort of my silly card. I loved doing this one. Okay, so now I have a couple of cards that are different, but they're all kind of the same theme. And this is using the some of the shadow stamps, some of the silhouette stamps. So this one I have the, you know, the tree obviously off here. And the reason why I had so much fun with these is, I mean, in addition to the stamps just being a lot of fun, is the ink blending. I use my my favorite things cloud stencil, which I use on like every project now ever, so just get used to it. I really wanted to experiment with some non-traditional colors in the sky. So this one I've got pink and blue, and it kind of made some purple in here. And I think I flicked something on it when it was drying. I don't think this is water here on the top, but I decided it gave the card character and it still worked, so I still went ahead and proceeded to turn this background into a card. But these little dots here at the top was definitely not intentional. And this was my favorite sentiment from the kit, with Brave Wings She Flies. I love this sentiment. This is totally, like, just that alone is totally worth the kit. And I was thinking a little girl flying on her swing, because whenever my daughter's on the swings at the playground, she plays that she's flying, so it totally reminded me of my daughter. So I thought this was really fun. And again, I really loved the pink and the blue in the background. And of course this one I did with orange and yellow, kind of along the same lines, different card, but kind of, you know, the same lines with the ink blending and the silhouette stamping. And this one is Swinging By to Say Hello. I'm an appalling upside down reader, so sorry, I have to keep flipping things so that I can read it. And this is also the same thing. This one I did with purple and pink. And this is probably my favorite background of all of them. There's so much. It looks like there's just so much dimension in the background with all of the way that the different colors blended together. I had a lot of fun with this one. And I didn't like this. I mean, I like this grass stamp here, but I don't like how small it is. I had to, and not that it's that big of a deal, but I had wished that it was a little bit larger so that it would cover cards, top folding cards better. I had to double stamp it to cover the whole area, which wasn't, again, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it's like, come on, you couldn't have given us another 1.5 inches. Come on. But that's kind of what I did with the bottom here, and then I just kind of wanted children playing outside in the dark, not in the dark, but, you know, as the sun's going out, because it made me think of children being called in for the night. And thank you for the beautiful moments. I just thought that was really sweet. But this is my favorite of the ink blended cloud cards. I'll be hanging on to that one for a very special occasion. So now I have 2 cards kind of along the same lines, using that the intricate die here, which I did actually get a gift for my Cuddlebug, so yay. I was worried that it wouldn't, which is probably why I think I started using it to begin with, was to see if it would get through. And once I started to get it through, I wanted to obviously see what it looked like in black. And these ones just have some pattern paper in the background. And again, I think it was this one, I actually had a recipient in mind when I made it, and I ended up sending her another card because I think I misplaced this one temporarily in one of my drawers as it was drying. I have those Recollections rainbow colored plastic drawer cards, and I will actually put projects in there and shut the drawer when they're drying. And I think I put, because of the Nuvo drops, I put this in there to dry and kind of temporarily misplaced it. And then there's this one as well. And the background papers from this, I'm still using that gorgeous paper pack from Muse Studio I picked up on Black Friday last year. So that's where these background papers came from. They were just too pretty. I didn't want to do any ink blending because I really wanted to show off just the pattern paper. Sometimes you just gotta have pattern paper. I love pattern paper. And then of course some more Nuvo drops on this one. So I loved these. I love this die. Oh, it's just so lovely. And I was thinking too, and I didn't get a chance to do it, but you could also stamp some of the children, and then cut the use the dies to cut them out, and then just cut the swings off, and then put the children on the swing on this one too. Again, didn't do it, but I wanted to. I didn't get around to it. Okay, So the last ones, okay, not the last one, but the last couple of ones were all made at different times, but all, again, just playing with inks or watercolor in the stamping. These two I tried building the tree, and they came. These were the first ones that I did, and as you can see, they're not the healthiest looking trees. But I was just having fun with it, and then of course I wanted to play with my Distress Oxide inks after, so I did some color blending with those. I did have a lot of fun with them. These are definitely something that I would consider sending to a friend, but probably not something that's going to make it to my for sale shelf. But I did have a lot of fun with these, and the Distress Oxides they're just too much fun. I'm really looking forward to my my Tim Holtz glass mat coming at some point this month, supposedly, knock on wood, because just watch out. I'm going to be pulling out the slightest excuse to pull out those inks, and they're going to be out, and they're going to be all over that glass mat. Anyway, so again, just some very simple stamping and heat embossing with clear embossing powder over black VersaFine. And the shadow images, just kind of building my own trees. And I believe I left the insides blank so that I could write my own sentiments in here. And let's see, then I have this one, which is again the same thing, but at this point I think I had gotten the hang of the tree, and I had realized that you could layer the tree branch stamps themselves. Like, you didn't have to have them so, meticulously spaced apart, because it doesn't look very good. It doesn't look natural. And this one, but by the time I got to this one, and again, there's a lot of different sample projects that you're not even seeing in between here. So I did a lot of playing with the trees and on scrap paper and just, regular ink. And so at this point I had finally got the hang of it, and I was like, whoa, here we go. So, and this is the same thing. It's just VersaFine and clear embossing powder, and this is on that hot press watercolor paper. And this is Distress inks, just regular Distress inks being used as watercolor on here. This one was a lot of fun. This is probably my favorite of the watercolor paper projects that I did on this little one. And again, I didn't think a sentiment was appropriate. My thinking was that when the card, because these were going to be cards for me and kept in my own stash, I could stamp my own sentiment when the need arises, either from this kit or using any of my, many other sentiment sets. So I did very intentionally leave the last ones that I'm showing you without a sentiment to fill in blanks later, and then obviously it's blank on the inside. So very fun. Okay, so the very last card is probably the first card that I made out of everything, just because I was so excited about it. But the very last card that I wanted to show you is that I made the White Tree of Gondor, guys. On the navy blue, like the Gondor soldier uniforms. It's supposed to be the silver metal thread, only I used metal embossing powder. This one was really easy to do, but because it's a large stencil, it was a bit cumbersome. I had to tape it down onto the paper, and then I smooshed my Versamark pad onto it, and then I was able to lift it off. And it took a couple of tries to get a clean impression, just a couple of different samples with that. Just a little bit big, and obviously this is bigger. This is an A7, this is a 5x7 card versus my usual A2, just because I wanted to showcase the whole stencil. This is a very special card to me, and this one has a purpose. I left it blank. My landlord's son is a great guy. He's a Marine, and he's stationed out in California. He has been for a couple of years now, but his birthday is coming up, and he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, just like I am. Big dorks when he comes home to visit, every couple of years. He and I have our Lord of the Rings stuff, so I'm saving this for his birthday. So I just, I don't have a sentiment in it or anything. I was literally so excited, oh, this gorgeous, fabulous stamp set. Oh, that means nothing to me. Look, everyone, it's Lord of the Rings. So that was pretty much my my frame of mind when I saw this. Anyway, so I thought that you guys would get a hoot out of that I did actually do that. Anyway. That is everything that I have to show off from the kit. I still have some ideas, and I'm still going to continue to use it, but I wanted to get this filmed because I have a backlog of kits and things that I need to get to, and this was kind of the next one in line, and it was kind of holding me up. So I'm going to put these cards away, and I'm going to get this put in my stash, and going to consider this a clean basket and case closed as far as the card share is concerned. However, this will probably not be the last that you'll see of projects that I work with this kit. I had a blast with it. The kit is sold out, and I am really sorry about that. However, I will link it down below so that you can take a look at some of the add-on stuff if you're interested in some things that are similarly themed. Thanks for spending some time with me, and we will talk later. Bye!